Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday, bye day, baby. I hope everyone is having an incredible week. So, I got a special conversation for you today, and it is going to be wrapping up your secret sauce. And specifically, I'm going to be talking about references. And this idea is essential to developing your secret sauce because you got to realize when I'm talking about your secret sauce, I am talking about what it is that you have that nobody else has got, right? What is your secret sauce? And a very important and essential way for you to figure out, exactly what you got is to start focusing on your references, focusing on what you do great, right? Because you got to realize, I'm going to get into the conversation in a bit, but you got to realize you already have greatness inside of you. You just don't realize it yet. So that's why this conversation is essential, to start figuring out your references and figuring out, you already can own the world. All right? So, with that being said, I'm going to be talking about a couple of things today. I'm going to first talk about, when it comes to references, books and biographies and how important they are to study. I'm going to also additionally talk about mentors and how they can help you play a role in mentorship. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to share an idea with you that if you were to follow through on this idea, it'll change your life forever. In a positive way too. So, get ready, because let's get it going. All right, so before I get into everything, right, your references, you got to realize you are amazing already, right? What you want is possible. Hey, lady boss Nikki, what you want is possible. You just don't realize how great you are already. And when I'm talking about references, I'm talking about, we are so programmed to look for the bad in things. But when you start focusing on every individual thing that I have done well already, you start to realize, man, I already have it in me. Right? There's only one thing that you are probably lacking right now. And the one thing is you're lacking self-confidence. That's it. Right? That's why this is such an important conversation to have. Because the minute that you start developing the self-confidence, the self-belief in yourself, you realize, man, this world is mine. I can absolutely do what I set out to do. Right? So we're going to talk about references today, and it is going to be an important factor in building that self-confidence. Okay? So, thank you all for tuning in. The first idea that I want to share with you today is around books and biographies. And I think this is absolutely essential that if you want to achieve greatness, if you want to change your perspective, that you begin to study the lives of individuals that you look up to, of individuals that are successful, of individuals that have what you want. This is a habit that I have religiously gone through since I was probably 19 years old. I would study the greats. And what it does is that you are able to see how they got from where you might be right now to where they are today. Right? Steve Jobs says it himself. You cannot connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. Right? And what biographies do is they allow you to really read the story. Really read, what did they go through? What obstacles did they overcome? And to get to the level that they are at now. Because at the end of the day, right, these people that you look up to, they're human just like you, right? They had these limiting beliefs just like you. They all started at the same spot just like you, right? And when you start to study their stories, start studying their biographies, you realize, okay, so this is how they got through this obstacle. Maybe I'm going through that now, and I can actually relate to them because they were at this point, and that's where I'm at right now. So biographies are essential, and what books do is they start building up your references, right? Tony Robbins says that readers are leaders, right? You all of a sudden, when you see somebody else, maybe they're a little further in their timeline than you are, right? You see that they really laid it out for you. All of a sudden, when you start, really diving deep into their story, you begin developing self-confidence in yourself. And I think that's absolutely one of the most important factors that you can have is just that self-confidence, because, my mentor says everything you want is as close as your skin, right? And when I'm thinking about this idea, I realized, okay, the world is truly mine. Do I just have the self-confidence to go out there and go get it? Because you know what the thing is, right? The world, this is what Napoleon Hill says, the world will typically make room for the individual that demands exactly what he wants out of life and goes and gets it, right? The world will make room for that individual, where you got to demand definitely, what do I want out of life? And you just set that target and go get that, right? When you have that self-belief in yourself, you are absolutely on your way to it, okay? So that was the first idea, biographies, right? The importance of studying successful people. It's going to play a huge role in developing those references that are going to give you that self-belief. Now, the second idea that I want to share with you is mentorship, right? This is essential that you find individuals that have what you want, because they have gone through the trial and error method. And we have to realize, right, we only know, like if you were to imagine an hourglass, we only know what's in the bottom of our hourglass, right? We do not know how much time we have left, right? I'm only 23 years old, but you never know how much time you have left. It can be an incident or anything, right? So basically, I'm not going to get down the dark road, but what I'm saying is, right, we want to start shortcutting our success. And mentorship provides you the ability to start really shortcutting it, right? You're able to find an individual that has the results that you want, that has the life that you want, and they may have gone through the trial and error method so that you don't have to. So I really think it's important to find successful individuals that have what you want and really align with them. Because my mentor says this, right? You want to become valuable to valuable people. And when you start, surrounding yourself with mentors, with the people that have what you want, right? You're able to just follow their advice. Like I said, Steve Jobs says you can't connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect them moving back, right? So they can help guide you through the journey when, let's face it, right? Maybe you are making your own path, right? Especially when it comes to you going into the unknown, when you're going for your dreams, right? There's not like a given path for you. But what you can realize is that the path that you need to follow, a mentor may have the way to get started for you. So that's critical, I think, for references. And again, just on this idea of like the path and, you're stepping into the unknown, right? The school system and jobs, right? They typically are teaching you to just follow what people are telling you to do, right? School was designed in the industrial age so that people would just follow what authority says to them. Now, when you start not thinking like that frame of mind, where you have to start thinking for yourself and asking yourself better questions, right? The world is pretty wide open. And, there is room for failure. But the truth is, right, nothing fails like success. You're going to need to step out of the way of the masses. You might have to step out and do the thing that's unfamiliar to get results that might be unfamiliar. So that's where mentorship plays a huge role in helping you really shortcut the trials and errors. Because there's let's talk about this for a second, right? There's a story, right? I could spend the rest of my life studying science, building my own rocket, flying to the moon, just to look at the earth and figuring out, oh my God, the earth is round. Right? I can spend my whole life that, or I can use somebody else who has already done it. I can use their reference, their work already, their trial and error already to be like, okay, I can just accept this, right? The world is round, right? It's like people, you can shortcut your success. And that's why I think, just on the topic, right? Books and mentorship are so essential no matter what it is that you want to do. Okay? Now, finally, I'm going to share a third idea with you that if you actually implement this, it's going to change everything for you, right? And that is your own personal references, right? I'm telling you this right now, and if you hear this and you take action on this, it will change everything, right? If you were to write down 500 things that you do well, you'll start to realize I'm incredible. I am absolutely capable of success, right? And you have to do it in the certain way, right? Wallace C. Waddle says it's not about doing certain things. It's about doing things in a certain way, right? You need to write it down with a pen and paper when you do it. And it's really important that you get to 500 because I've gone through this experience, and what it literally does is the act of writing it down will absolutely change your brain neural connections. It will change everything for you. You will immediately start thinking, let me say this, in the long term, you will start thinking of what you already accomplished more habitually, right? Because you got to realize you've already done so many amazing things in this world. Right, the fact that you even woke up today, you got yourself ready, right? There was a point in your life where you couldn't do that before, right? So you got to remember just how great you are and how much you've already accomplished, how you came, like Nikki, for you, for example, right? You came all the way to another country. That is a huge accomplishment. Huge. Most people have never done that, right? So you already have it in you. You are already incredible, right? And it's really important that you literally wire this self into you, because you got to remember this, right? When you start stepping out into the unknown, when you start going on that new adventure, when you start accessing the hero's journey and you start, the unknown's the unknown. It's a little bit scary, but you have all the references that you need to back yourself up that you are incredible, right? This is absolutely essential. And I want you to seriously wire this into yourself, because when it becomes when your reticular activating system in your brain starts looking for exactly all the things you've done well versus all the things that you haven't done well, right? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, and everything changes for you. Right? This is essential. You start developing that self-confidence, that belief in yourself, which is absolutely critical when you decide that you want to be great. Because let's face it, right? It is a bold statement to say that I'm going to be great, that I'm going to be wildly successful. It is a bold statement. Most of the masses aren't willing to state that and then follow through with it. But you have it in you, right? You know you have it in you, and you just got to remember that. You have to start working on your references to remember that. Right? That's how it's done. Now, I'm going to also share another idea. I know I only said 3, but it's the little wins. It's the little wins that lead to the big wins. And most people overlook the little things. One of the ways that I stay so positive, that I'm able to really get through my day and thrive through my day, is that I wake up every morning at 5 a.m. And when I'm able to commit and wake up that early in the morning, right, it's that little win that gives me the confidence that, okay, I've already won. I've already woken up at 5 a.m. I know I am great enough to do the next thing. Right? It's these little wins that add up. They add up every single time. And you have to start congratulating yourself for every little win that you did, right? If you woke up this morning and you jumped right out of bed, right, I really want you to start patting yourself on the back, because that is a huge accomplishment, right? Most people are sleeping in. They don't want to get up because they don't have a purpose. But you woke up this morning with intention, with enthusiasm, with purpose, right? It's those little wins just from the moment you wake up out of bed. Right? How do we change the rules of the game so that we can win the game? Right? When the moment, this is a little off tangent, but I made my rules so that when I wake up, I've already won. Because you know why? I'm alive. I woke up. I have another day to live. I have another day to be grateful. I am alive. I've already won the day because I woke up. But additionally, the fact that I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning, jumped right out of bed, right? That is a huge win for me. And these little wins, they add up. They give you the self-confidence to keep going. And then I have another win. Maybe I wrote down 10 things that I'm grateful for, and I sent it to my accountability partner. Right? That is another huge win. I got my mind right. I got my state of mind right by doing the right thing in the morning. Right? It's these little wins that add up. And they start getting the ball rolling. Because, they say the greatest force is momentum. Right? And when you start focusing on the little things that you can do well each morning, start getting that momentum rolling, right? You can all of a sudden start becoming more confident to do even greater things. Right? So the rest of my day, right? I already won. When I win my morning, the rest of my day is like I'm ready to take it on. I am ready for the day to take it on because I already won a couple of times this morning and they added up. And you know what? I've been consistent, right? You know, the principle of Kaizen says you get 1/10 of 1% better every single day. Right? It starts adding up. I know that the compound effect is real. I may not fully understand it, but I trust that it's real. And now I know that if I can just stay consistent every weekday, waking up at 5 a.m., writing down 10 things I'm grateful for, focusing on my mindset every morning, winning my morning, showing up live every day, right? It's these little wins that in the long run are going to allow me to have the confidence to go out there and achieve the huge wins, right? So that's why when it comes to your secret sauce, that references are so important for you, because you got to just remember that you are amazing, that you have it in you, that there is nobody that can tell you what you can or cannot do besides you. All right? So, I want to thank you all for this epic conversation today. I talked a little bit about your references. I talked about the importance of studying biographies. Studying the people that you look up to, because you'll be able to start developing their references for how they made it in this life, and you'll start developing that self-confidence. I also talked about, the importance of mentorship and how a mentor can really save you essentially a decade of trial and error, because they've done the trial, they've done the error, they have the results that you want. You can follow them. So save yourself time by getting a mentor. And Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich, that state of mind known as faith. There was a period where I didn't believe in myself, but my mentor did. My mentor believed in me more than I believed in myself. And I had to borrow his faith in me. And all of a sudden, I realized I'm really good at this. I'm really good at speaking. And now all of a sudden, I have these references under my belt, right? Each episode that I get to do adds up. It adds up. It builds the confidence. So that was number 2. And then finally, number 3, write 500 things that you do well. If you write this on paper and you commit to it and you actually make it to 500, I'm not talking about doing it to 100. I'm not talking about doing it to 200. I'm talking about doing it to 500 things that you do well. You will absolutely rewire yourself and start focusing on all the incredible things that I've achieved. And when you do this exercise, it doesn't have to be huge accomplishments, right? It's not like you have to say that you walked on the moon. You just got to say, man, I woke up, I got dressed, little things that you couldn't do before. Remember, the little things add up to the big wins, right? Never become too big for the little things. So that's the conversation today. I hope you all have an incredible Friday. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all next week starting Monday. Bye, everybody, for now.